Welcome to this week's Transport Vlog. Now, this edition is all about railways and trains after 25 European countries signed a declaration last week saying they want to boost international train travel. So here are 3 things to watch out for when it comes to trains. First thing, that declaration. Now, it says that they want to boost our ability to cross borders by rail, work on things like through ticketing, employ things like digital solutions, and basically make it easier for us to get from one country to another. 25 countries signed up to it, 2 non-EU members, Switzerland and Norway. Switzerland's a bit of a given really, considering that it borders so many countries that are in the EU. There's already a precedent for a bit of collaboration across borders on this. Last year, Swiss's state-owned railway company said that they would collaborate with France's and Italy's in order to take away the short-haul flight market share. That's starting to pay off slightly. In terms of countries that didn't sign up to it, Malta and Cyprus didn't because they're islands, they don't have any tunnel collections like the United Kingdom does. And Estonia didn't because they have a different gauge to the rest of Europe at the moment. They are involved with the Rail Baltica infrastructure project, which is supposed to do a direct link between Warsaw to Tallinn and maybe even onto Helsinki through an undersea tunnel at some point. That's a multi-billion euro project that's getting EU funding. It's supposed to be done by 2025, but these kind of projects obviously aren't always on track. And the other country that didn't sign up was Croatia because they're the rotating EU presidency holder at the moment. And the presidency holder generally doesn't get involved with these kind of declarations. They kind of are the honest broker, but they support it in some way or another. So things like ticketing are really going to be things to watch out for because any of us can go on to Skyscanner or another website like that and we want to go from one airport to another via another hub. To do that by train is quite difficult at the moment because companies often don't share their data. You have to really deep go into the website in order to find what you want. You have to be an aficionado to know what you're doing, which puts off general everyday travellers. You know, the bargains are out there. There are plenty of sites where you can go and find a special ticket, but in the age of convenient travel, that is not something that you want when you can just get on a 30-minute flight somewhere. The second thing is the shift to rail of freight that a lot of people want to see in order to get cargo and goods off of the roads and onto trains. During the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of passenger trains have not run because of lack of demand, so freight operators have been able to offer more punctual and greater capacity of services. They want that to continue once passenger trains start going back up to their normal services. And one of the main things that those companies want is a supranational management service. So if freight is going from Italy to France, for example, they should be able to rely on a common set of sort of rules and timetabling and something where they can really say to customers, look, if you give us your freight, it will arrive by this point, which at the moment is one of the main obstacles to large companies giving rail companies big contracts because they just don't know whether or not their cargo is going to arrive on time. Something which you generally can, depending on the day, guarantee with road freight. So that's one thing to look out for, is that a lot of things like the EU Green Deal and the Year of the Train that the Commission wants to do next year is geared towards getting goods off the road and onto trains because it's such a sustainable option. They can often be powered by electricity, which again brings down energy consumption, blah, 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 blah. So, big issue. Very complex, but it's one of those really sort of niche options where the EU is actually quite suited to doing something like a working party on cross-border freight and something. So look out for that one. Third thing is tourism and staycations. Now, a lot of countries are still in a quandary about whether or not to open up their borders, how they're going to do it, will there be air bridges? The UK is already backtracking on its 14-day quarantine and saying that, oh, we'll have a travel bubble with the EU, something like freedom of movement, where we heard that before. So it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world for countries to sort of promote domestic tourism for the coming months. And Belgium has tried to do just that and is allegedly going to be offering Belgian residents 10 free train tickets to use over the summer months in order to go from one end to the other. But of course, in the most Belgian fashion possible, the government didn't really consult with the train company before they announced this. So we'll see whether or not that sees the light of day or not. But it opens up another sort of link back to this declaration that we were saying, is that trains are going to maybe come into their own in the coming months and years because of the effect that the coronavirus has had on the aviation industry. A lot of companies aren't going to survive. A lot of passenger habits have changed, even though different kind of companies like Airbus and airlines say that the safest place you can be is in an airplane cabin because of the filtration mechanisms. A lot of people simply don't want to take the chance of going to an airport wearing a mask and getting an infection. The mindset, of course, maybe the facts don't back that up. But when it comes to a train, it's more of a sustainable option in more ways than one. So, the international declaration that we opened the video with could really be a game changer, because it really gives people a signal that the train industry is going somewhere, rather than suffering from the chronic lack of interest and funding it has done for the last 1,000 years. Take one example. You can go from Brussels to Prague, where a few stops for 29 euros if you're lucky, and it takes 11 hours. Those are the kind of journeys that people really want to back up. So look out for that. It could be the year of the train next year, 2021, if we survive that long, of course. Fingers crossed. Once again, thanks for everyone who has chipped in a centime or two to the crowdfunding that Euractiv is running at the moment. We really appreciate it. And together we can pull through this, of course. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do so. And tune in next week for another video and the rest of the newsletter.